Welcome to Oorah's Shark-Tank. The battle for a cause.
You are wrong.
Stop yelling and listen to what I have to say.
These program directors are fighting to win.
You'll get the most for your money when you invest in my program.
It's clear that my program is the program.
And win big.
Why give your money to something good when you can give your money to something better?
My dear friend, my dear shark, you're about to make a $500 mistake.
The Shark Tank debate is one of our most exciting features here tonight on the Oorah Radiothon, as three members of the Oorah staff compete with our shark, our dear shark today, Mr. Chaim Lax, who has been a dedicated supporter of Oorah for many years. And tonight, you're finally going to get a chance to decide what Oorah is going to do with your donation.
He looks more like a nice guy to me.
Oh, he's a shark underneath. He looks nice on the outside, but inside, oh, he's a shark like you wouldn't believe. And we have here Rabbi Kravitz, Rabbi Biederman, and Rabbi Reichman, who each have 2 minutes to sell you their cause, and you get to decide which one of those three Oorah programs gets the money. Sound good?
Sounds good. So I can start off with $1,000, and I'd like to hear what each one of you can do with that kind of money.
Any specific order that you'd like us to go?
Why don't we start with Rabbi Reichman and go down the line.
Okay, so I'm going to advocate for the Rebbitzins program. That's our Shadchan program. And I first want to explain to you why this is such an important program. If the Frum community is having a Shidduch crisis, then those that grew up not from and became from, they're having a 3-alarm fire emergency. The Frum community, we have family, we have friends, we have a network, siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, extended family, so many friends, a community that we grew up with, friends from school. And still we are having this yoyness of finding our true shidduchim. Alachas kam v'kam, all the more so, someone that was brought up not in the Frum community and he becomes from, or she becomes from, sometimes their own family is not on board. Their own parents don't want them to marry a frum mate. And all the more so, and they don't have the family and friends that we have. So most definitely they're going to have a hard time with shidduchim. So that's why it's so important. That's one reason why it's so important for us to have this program, for you to support it. And more than that, is that when someone marries, that's setting his foundation. That's anchoring him in to his lifestyle. So someone that became from over the last couple of years, it's so important for them to find that right shidduch and make sure they get the support and they need from the Oorah's Rebbitzin Shadchan program to find that right shidduch to help them to continue their commitment that they've made to become from and to anchor in their commitment to Yiddishkeit and to build a Bayis Neman B'Yisrael.
Sounds good to me, boy. Sounds good to me also. What's the next one up?
So, hi, it's Avram Kravitz here, and I am representing the Oorah Yom Tovim. Firstly, I want to thank you for donating, and it seems like you've been donating for a few years. So to take your donations to the next level, you actually came down, and you're making one of us here work for our donation. And we have a little bit of an elevator pitch. We've got a few seconds to be able to pitch to you why our program, but on behalf of everybody that Oorah services, we thank you for your donation, because at the end of the day, somebody's going to get the donation. And it's gewaldig that you're doing that. Oorah Yom Tovim. I want you to think about, in your family, or just think about the memories that you have of all the Yom Tovim that you got together with your family. Be it Rosh Hashanah, Sukkot, Chanukah, Pesach, Shavuos, where the family all got together and you spent time, whether it's with your married kids or whether it's with your in-laws or parents, whatever everyone's family dynamic is. We at the Zone campus, we host every single Yom Tov upstate. I'll be heading upstate this week to set up for Shavuos in the Zone. 600 plus people will be going for a 3-day Yom Tov in the Zone. The Frum side of the Oorah team and the Kier side of the Oorah team, and there's nothing better than seeing the families commingle and get together, and our Kier families are having the same exact experiences that we have when we go to our family, and that creates a bond. And really, the most important facet of Oorah is we are a conduit to create a bond between a Frum family or a Frum staff member and a Kier family and a Kier staff member. And that bond, the building block for the bond, happens at a Yom Tov, and that increases to every other program of Oorah. I'm getting told that my time is done. I'm not used to this, but I thank you for really giving the donation to the Oorah Yom Tov. Thank you.
State-of-the-art Yom Tov. I mean, it's not, Oorah is not, some shabby Yom Tov.
Oh, no.
Everything there is, they're knocking down the doors to join this.
The Lachem and the LaHashem is in the Yom Tovim. So that's Rabbi Kravitz. You've heard Rabbi Kravitz. What do you think about Rabbi Kravitz's pitch?
It's a very nice pitch.
It's a nice pitch.
It's a very nice pitch.
How's he looking right now, just between Rabbi Kravitz and Rabbi Reichman?
It's a very close call there.
Very close call. Rabbi Biederman is going to make it even more confusing. Go ahead, Rabbi.
Okay. We're going to confuse things even more. 36 locations around the country. Every week, nearly 1,000 kids get together with their counselors from camp or other volunteers in 36 locations across the United States, across Canada, and in Israel. To have fun, it's called Chill Zone. They have a great time. They study together. They party together. They play together. They have refreshments. They have fantastic raffles. Many of the locations have chill zones for moms and dads too, because the parents get involved. There's nothing better that you can do with these kids. They belong. They no longer feel, a lot of these kids are coming from homes that aren't from. A lot of them are coming from homes that are moderately from. This gives them a weekly boost. This gives them role models that they can connect with on a weekly basis. It excites them, it gets them involved, and it gives them a support system throughout the entire year. So whatever they get in school is very nice, but they're in school. Here they're having fun, they're having a great time, they're hanging out with kids their own age, they're getting refreshments, they're playing games, they're learning, they're coming home with something, they're bringing home the message, we're engaging the parents, we're engaging the kids, it's total involvement, and that's what Oorah does best.
So, you've heard three very compelling things. How are you going to make your decision?
Okay, I heard you're correct, I heard very compelling arguments from all three contestants, I guess. And I wish I had the kind of money that they had on the Real Shark show to be able to give.
This is not the Real Shark Show?
That's not the Real Shark Show, from what I understand. I've never. There's the real one. Well, on the other one, that they give a lot more money. But considering,
I forgot
all
to
three
tell you,
arguments,
I want to offer you a 50% ownership in the Oorah Yom Tov.
He's going to invite you for a Yom Tov. He's inviting you for a Yom Tov.
He's inviting me for Yom Tov. If my wife was here, that may actually put it over the top.
And if you want their children to go to the chill zone every night, once a week, then make sure you set up their shidduchim, make sure you allocate your money so they can have the proper shidduch to be able to do that.
He's good. He's good.
We have 600 singles currently, 40 active shadchanim.
I think when I heard the arguments for the shadchanim, I said, that's where I'm going. And then when I heard about the camp, I said, that's where I'm going. It's just very hard to say. So, but I think I am going to go with the chill zone, and I'm going to raise it to $1,800.
Whoa. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That's great.
And what was it about the chill zone? Why did that draw you?
What's about the chill zone? The chill zone, it seems to be, I think it's where the money can do the most good. I understand about the shadchanim and the shadchan crisis. Actually, I have a personal experience with that. And the Yom Tovim is very nice, but that's only, it's by the Yom Tovim. This is every week, that it's a connection, every week that the people are coming down. And I just think that this is where the most good can be done out of the three. Not to say that the other two aren't important, but of the three, this is the one that I think would do the most.
When they grow up and they become shidduch age, we'll still help them with that shidduchim.
I think our attention just got so riveted by this debate that people are not calling. 18777 auction. You could help the chilling, you could help the shadchanim, you could help the Yom Tovim, and so much more.
I want to say, I'll be gracious in defeat. You did very well.
Thank you very much for your donation. Thank you. You can also donate. If you want to be a shark, you can call now at 18777 auction or online at oorah.org. We have some. Our next shark this evening, who Rabbis Kravitz, Biederman, and Reichman will again be competing for his donation, is Rabbi Matt Hoffman, who is a super lawyer, rating as one of the top 5% lawyers in New York City. He runs a curative organization called The Flame, and he is a certified marriage education and divorce prevention coach. And he and his wife have spoken at over 50 college campuses and shuls around the company.
That's wonderful.
This is a shark who won't let our fish off the hook that easily. A good Tavach, Rabbi Matt Hoffman.
Gentlemen, I have given Oorah $500. What I want to know tonight is which one of you should get it and why.
Okay,
Rabbi Biederman.
I'll jump in. They make this mic not work now? Okay, no,
I
this
saw
one
Rabbi
does work.
Kravitz fiddling with it before.
Yeah, I know. Okay, imagine 600 kids moved from public school to yeshivas with a retention rate of close to 90% or more of them sticking to yeshivas through 12th grade, many of them beyond. A budget of nearly $2 million that's allocating over $150,000 a month that's going to help kids in yeshivas. 170 schools, over 600 kids, all ages. That's what we do. We put them in school and we mentor them throughout the whole process. It's not that we throw them into school and they just stay there. We are there. We're involved. We're engaged with the schools. We're engaged with the kids. We monitor their progress. We make sure they go to the right schools, to a school that's appropriate for them. We make sure the fit is right for them, for their family, and we lead them all the way through, from preschool through 12th grade. That's what we do in our tuition program, and that's why you should put your money there, because we succeed in putting kids through the school, through the education process in a way that they can handle and a way that will help them grow and retain their Jewish identity forever.
Do I ask my questions now, or do you want me to hold them to the end?
Why didn't everybody kind of do their 2-minute pitch?
Okay.
And then skewer them. Rabbi Reichman.
Okay, I'm going to advocate for the Torah Mates program. That's a Chavrusa program of learning once a week over the phone or through Skype or in person, however we can work that out. And the reason why I think you should invest in the Torah Mate program is threefold. First of all, it's the most cost-effective program from all the programs that we're talking about. It costs $50 to set up a Torah Mate partnership, including us sending them books, Svarim, to learn from. It's also the most diversified program because it's from young children through adults of any age. And third of all, this is the easiest way to get people involved in Oorah, to be interested in Yiddishkeit, because it's not a large commitment on their part. All they have to do is study with someone once a week. They can do it over the phone from the comfort in their house. Any subject that they choose at the time and pace that they choose. And we'll set them up with someone that suits them exactly to their needs. So therefore, if you want to get involved in the tuition program and in Rabbi Kravitz's camp program, the way to get them in the door and the way to get the most for your money is to get them in through Torah Mates.
Rabbi Kravitz.
Hi, camp, the zone camp. Why would I ask you to support the zone camp? And I'll be glad to explain. How do you reach a family unit? How do you get them in one place to be able to get the message across? How do you build the building blocks or a foundation to get a kid interested in going to yeshiva? So you could do a cold call and call somebody affiliated and call a parent and try to convince them to yeshiva. If you get a kid into the zone camp, a couple of things happen. Number one, the kid gets inspired and he becomes interested in yeshiva. Number two, and here's the focal point, the parents come on visiting day and visit the kid, and they see a kid that is different than it was 2 weeks ago. They see a kid that's inspired, a kid that is joyous in his Judaism and his Yiddishkeit, and they say, I want to have a little bit of what that is. And then you tell them, meet with Rabbi Mintz, who's sitting in the tuition tent, and he'll help you get your child to go to yeshiva. Or join us right after the summer for Rosh Hashanah, and you too will be inspired. And when you come for Rosh Hashanah, you're going to get a Torah mate that's going to learn with you. And this is inclusive of the whole entire family. So of course, tuition is important, and of course, Torah mates is important. By supporting camp, you will get everybody in, and that will then branch out to the other programs within their organization. So if you want to be if your investment wants to lead to other things, now of course, if you support tuition, you may be able to get the kid to come to camp. But it's not alive. Camp is alive. The parents see it, They see that kid, and this is a tried and true formula to get the kids inspired, the family, Chagim, Oorah, the rest of the programs, and I hope you join us in our effort.
Okay, we ready?
We're ready.
I'm
Yeah.
going to start with
here-
Rabbi Kravitz first. You know, I do a lot of curative work, and I see a lot of people. And the vast majority of them have had no camping experience whatsoever. And they're becoming frum. So I want to understand why your camping program is so special that you're going to show me that people are going to become frum or become more observant, because that's not what I'm seeing in terms of the Bali Tshuva that I see. I don't see people who became frum through camps.
Imagine a Disneyland where everything is positive. We suffer from in today's society where even in the frum community we find sometimes Yiddishkeit burdensome, not explained. Imagine a place where everything is fun and exciting, where everything is joyous, where you're accepted for who you are, where you come to a campus that looks like Disney World, has anything and
Okay,
everything.
I got that, but let me ask you this. Life is not always, unfortunately, joyous, and life is not always summer camp. So how are we preparing these kids to confront the challenges if they're going to become observant? Because it's not all fun and games.
Each camper that comes to camp, let me finish. Each camper gets a staff member that becomes a Torah mate.
Aha.
But the
okay.
There you go. That's
there's
the
always
point.
a but.
That's the-
But you know why we have them come to camp? Because as opposed to just connecting them on the phone where they never met each other, they live together for 30 days. They establish this
Okay.
incredible bedrock of a relationship that ultimately could continue when they go on their different ways. But the emphasis or the part of the relationship that starts, and that's the key to the camp, this Torah mate concept, and it starts when they live together. They see each other for 30 days straight. They study every day. They learn every day. They learn each other's quirks, what works for them, what doesn't work for them, and ultimately it builds and it lets them continue, hopefully forever.
I'd like to interject something, Rabbi Dr. Hoffman, and that is that if your Bali Tshuva would have had the ability to go to camp, they probably would have become Bali Tshuva earlier.
I don't know. My reservation about that is, as one myself, I say to myself, if I would have had to go out there in the wilderness, I'm not sure I'd become
Well,
frum at all.
you
But
don't
that's
have
This camp
to-
is not a wilderness. That I can tell you.
Yeah, I don't look like such a wilderness guy.
No, it's for sure true. Let me go on to somebody else. Rabbi Reichman, let me ask you a question. Now, you know I'm the gay Badover since I'm involved in the Torah Mates project. But I'm also involved in two other organizations that provide learning over the phone. And what I want to know from you is, what's so special about this? There are other organizations I can support that provide learning over the phone. I know they're wonderful like you are. Why should I give $500 to Torah Mates when I could do something else with my money, including giving it to these other two guys?
Okay, so you being involved with two other organizations, you could probably answer the question better than me. But let me just say that all organizations that are setting up chavrusas to learn are amazing, and halavai, we should have more of those organizations. We need many, many more. There are so many
Amen.
people that need to be reached.
Amen.
I can tell you what Oorah does when someone joins the Torah Mate program. Oorah has many different programs that in each program in their own right, they can be their own organization. We have a camp department, we have a tuition, we have chill zones as we discussed before, we have Rebbitzins, we have Yom Tovim in the zones, we have Shabbatons. And
They interlock.
what's special about Oorah is that once someone joins our Torah Mate program, if their children are not in yeshiva, then we will encourage them to send their children to yeshiva. If their children have not been to a frum religious Jewish camp, we'd encourage them to send their children to camp. And we would help their children or them themselves, if they need shidduchim, help them get shidduchim. We encourage them to join us for a Yom Tov or a Shabbaton at the zone. We have a Torah Mates retreat at the zone coming up in about a month from now, July 4th weekend for the men, and the week after that for the women. So it's not just about Torah Mates. We supply the books. We have a professional kirav staff that is on call day in and day out to help people, to be madrich people with any questions they have, to encourage people on both ends to take the next step that is needed, to help them form that relationship, that shaykhus with their Torah mate, to help them move to the next level. I hope I answered
You
your
guys
question
are making this
sufficiently.
very difficult. But Rabbi Biederman, hopefully you'll give me a bad answer so I can at least narrow it to two. So let me ask you.
I'll try my best not to.
Okay, thank you. Let me ask you this. How much money are you giving per kid to go to yeshiva?
Depends on the kid, and it depends on the following. As you've heard, Oorah is about total engagement of the family and getting the most, using each program to leverage the most effectiveness in general. And what happens is when a kid, there's a base tuition subsidy, depending on the age of the kid and depending on the school, and then If the kid has a Torah mate, it gets up. If the parents have Torah mates, one parent has a Torah mate, two parents have Torah mates, it's a sliding scale because depending on the engagement of the family, that's how successful we're going to be. And our point is to give the parents an incentive to be engaged, to give the parents an incentive to have Torah mates, to give parents an incentive to be involved in their kids' education and in their own personal growth and their own personal connection to its Yiddishkeit. Because if the parents are connected, we're going to have a much more effective kid, a much more effective educational process for the child.
Ready?
I don't know. You're
Countdown.
not in an envious position over
I
here.
am in an extremely envious position, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I spoke to a colleague of mine, Rabbi Dr. Roth, and Rabbi Roth said to me, anyone who would sit up there and decide among three such worthy programs is incredibly arrogant. So I said, you picked the right guy. But aside from that, I thought of something else. I'm cheating. And here's how I'm cheating, okay? You already have $500 of my money to give to one of the worthy causes, but I decided that there were three worthy causes. And so what I'm doing is giving you 2 more checks so that I don't have to choose.
Fair enough.
A Solomon's decision.
So what I decided is, like, you forced me to choose first place. I'm giving it to Rabbi Biederman only because I have to. But on the other hand, what I did was give you checks for the other 2 for $180 for each one of the other 2.
He didn't show you the check I gave him before.
And so there are checks for the other 2 because as far as I'm concerned, everybody who participates with Oorah is a winner. There are no losers. The work you're doing is l'shem shamayim and a beautiful thing.
Thank you very much. Thank you.